I'm Mark Wolf, training manager and content developer for First Do. This video is a companion to the Getting Started guide for permits. We'll tackle the setup for permits in this order. Go to the permits in our menu stack. We're going to look at permit status, plan review types, then go to form builder, take a brief look at multi-permit form, permit types, and then a full review of the permits page and how to add a permit. I've navigated to permit status. Think manual status when you're looking at this page. Also think of your agency's workflow process. It's fairly simple. We can select add status. We'll get to that in a moment. And you can enter your statuses. Is active will mean that the status is actively available. Is final status can be selected for one or more of the statuses that you put in. You can change the order. We'll demonstrate that in a moment. And you can actually even delete a manual status. So to add one, we simply select add status. You'll see a new row appear at the bottom. In this case, we're going to put a manual status in for payment received. And then we want to put this directly below applied for. So we'll grab it, drag it, and drop it into the right order. And we've added it here. Now you can also delete a status. If you need to update and save the page, the save button will become bold. Navigate to the plan review types page. If you do plan reviews in conjunction with permits, you can set up the list of plan review types here. We simply select new plan review type and enter the name of it. Take an example. We're adding kitchen hood system plan review. And we're going to have the check mark for active. Select create. And that is the plan review type that we put up. You can deactivate these from the grid by selecting disable. You can edit the name by selecting the edit pencil or deleting if necessary by selecting delete. Keep in mind that those operations are controlled by specific permission. Next step in your setup is to navigate to the form builder list. Any permit form that you create will be listed on this particular page. See the name of it, the module, creation date, last edited date, who was the last editor. You can select to edit the form and duplicate the form, which is a nice tool if you have a very similar form you need to create with some minor changes. Duplicate an existing form and then update it, and also delete. Keep in mind that these actions are permissions-based. To review the basics of creating a form, we're going to select Create Form. Name it. Now in the actual permit form, it's very similar to the inspection form builder. You can add items by selecting plus sign. When you hover over any row, you'll see the plus sign and then tune. Plus sign will allow you to add items. When you select the plus sign, you can add all of the items in the list. After an item is added, you can select tune. You'll have different options depending on what you've added. In this particular case, we're looking at a title line here. We can update the font. We can change justifications. We can move the title up or down. And we can also delete it by selecting the X twice. At the top of the page, we have the header to tune it. We have different options for tuning, adding features. Then we have text available. Whichever option we pick, we can select the edit pencil here, and we can add additional lines for heading and text. And then tune. You have the same options as we had before for justification, moving it up and down as well. There are many options for setting up your permit form. Please review the knowledge base articles on the Permit Form Builder for more information. When we get done with the form, we're going to select save our changes. If you desire to issue multiple permits with one form, you can navigate to the multi-permit form. The layout of this page is a little bit different, but it's fairly straightforward. Top, we can add our logo and text, or just have a header as the image. We can upload the image, enter in any information that we need down the page. In this particular case, when we save this and we add it to a permit, we'll be able to issue multiple permits with one form. The last step to set up your permits is to add your permit types. There's an advanced search available at the top of the page, especially useful if you have multiple permit types that you use that won't fit on one page. There's a button here to select to add a new type. Your permits are listed in the grid below. Your actions are to be able to deactivate or edit a permit type. We're going to select the KBA permit, edit, just to show you how this works. Across the top of the page, you'll have to name the permit. Select a permit class, operational, operational conditional, construction, construction annual, construction conditional are your choices. Workflow, renewable, standalone, or project. If you have a default duration for the permit type, select days or years, enter the appropriate value. The created and edited date and by will autofill automatically as changes are made. Status. In a new permit, that will be checkmarked as active. You have to have an active permit type to utilize it, and you can enter notes in the note field. Now, down the very sections. If you have a requirement to respond to a permit application by a given deadline, switch the answer to yes, and you'll see a number of dates here. Enter in the correct values as you go down through the page, depending upon your agency's policies and procedures. You can also use the up and down arrows to change those instead of entering that value directly. If you include a plan review to the response deadline, we'll switch that to yes, and then you can update that as appropriate for your agency. Switch to the options section. Now in options, we can turn on or off the sliders. So if we allow plan reviews, turn that on, and then we can select plan reviews that may be included in this permit type. If we conduct inspections associated with a permit type, we turn that on, and then our list of inspection types are displayed, and we simply check mark the ones that apply for this type of permit. If you bill for permits, inspections, and/or plan reviews, turn that slider on at the bottom of the list. Next, we'll review the custom data fields. Now, in the custom data fields, we have several examples built here. First, we have a title, and we have a slider here that we can turn on as a mandatory response. We can duplicate the custom data field. And you'll see here now it's indicating to me that I need to change that F since I've duplicated it. And you can also delete the custom field. So your first example is free text. The next example is a numeric. And you'll notice in our field types, we have free text, multi-select, we'll see that in a moment, numeric, which is a numeric value only is accepted, or a single select. These are very, very similar to setting up your inspection checklist items. With the single select, we can add answer options by selecting the plus sign. Enter the text. These can be deleted, additional is added by selecting the plus sign, and so forth. In a single select, in the permit, when we're issuing it, we can only select one of the options. The next example is a multi-select. For a field type, we select multi-select. In this particular case, we put in our answer options, and when we're issuing the permit, we can select more than one answer. That's our custom data fields. Next is our permit form. Since we've created our permit form already, it's listed in the list of permit forms to associate this permit type to. Select it. The next is email. Permits come from our default email sender address of permits at firstdosizeup.com. If you want to use an agency email address, select that radio button. You'll type in an email address or an email address in your agency, select verify. In this particular case, you will receive an email at that email address that we entered. You'll have to verify it using Amazon Web Services, and you can add a email message body down below. Let's switch this back to our default email address. And lastly, Community Connect. If you have Community Connect available and you're using it in your agency, you can associate the permit to Community Connect. Not available, pretty self-explanatory. High hazard users, Community Connect users, or Community Connect and high hazard users. When done setting up your permit type, don't forget to select Save at the top of the page, and then Close. Navigated to the permits page. On the permits page at the top right-hand corner, we have Global Search. Global Search will work on partial or full and complete matches in the address and business name fields, as demonstrated here for the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll select Reset. You do have advanced search fields available at the top of the permits page. Enter data as you need and select Apply. Reset will reset advanced search, including the global search. You can save any filters applied to save view. I do have a save view for approved hot work permits to demonstrate that capability. Go ahead and select Reset. Down in our grid, you'll see that we have a number of columns that can be displayed. And if you need to, you can turn off columns if you don't want to see that information. In the columns themselves, they can be sorted by mousing over the column title. Selecting it once will be descending order. Twice will be ascending order. Columns can be rearranged by doing a drag and drop, and column width can be changed if necessary. In the actions column, you can edit a permit or delete a permit. Keep in mind that those may be restricted by the permissions that you have. At the bottom of the page, you'll see the page attributes, number of pages. You can navigate between them, showing 20, 50, 100, or 1,000 lines of data, and the total that you're currently viewing. And you can also download the data into a spreadsheet. Permits can be issued from this page or while you're recording an inspection. To demonstrate the process for issuing a permit, we'll do it from the permits page. We'll select new permit, and we'll enter an address. Select to change the application received date. If it's not the current date, this can be changed. And now we'll select our permit type. Notes can be entered and then select save. After you select save, you'll be redirected to the edit permit page. We have information you're going to enter at the top of the page. Some is auto-filled depending upon the information you put in and selections that you make. We have an occupancy contact field, also a vendor contact. We'll add a vendor contact in a moment. After the forms are filled out and all the information down below is completed, we can approve, reject, or close a permit. We can also select link permit if we need to link the permit to either an inspection or an invoice. We do have in the sections below, starting with the occupancy information or demographics. You can update it here. It updates the demographics and inspections and pre-plan, area of the building, access, construction information, occupancy loads, and resource requirements. Moving down to contacts. Here's our building contacts. You can update and add contacts for your permit. We can also add a vendor contact. Enter a name or address of the vendor. Select save. And you'll bring that vendor in. Now, if it's a permit contact, selecting the name here will allow you to select the vendor contact in the upper section. Additional vendor contacts can be added. Let's go down to the review section. Since we have reviews allowed for this type of permit, we can put in a project description, include a plan review. When we turn that slider on, we can add the appropriate plan review for the permit. We can also add attachments such as drawings and other important information to add to your plan review. Invoices can be added. If we have inspections necessary for the permit, we can schedule that inspection. Next is our custom data fields. When we set up the permit type, we added some custom data fields. We have the first one, which is a text box. We enter our text that we need. The next one down is a numeric question. We have to put a number in here. Try to put other letters, as you can see, they will not take. It will accept numbers only. In our single select, we can pick only one selection. And in our multi-select, we can select more than one. Onward to signatures. Grab our signature for our contact. Optionally, I did turn on the vendor contact to sign it. Could be a sprinkler contractor, so forth. And then the inspector. Take a look at the permit form. Now, in this particular case, we are emailing it. We're sending it to our Oxby contact and the vendor contact. This is our permit form. And we can send a permit by selecting Send Permit in the upper right-hand corner. If the inspector desires a copy of it via email, select Copy Me. We'll go ahead and approve the permit. Our approval date, and what we can do with the effective date is we can backdate it to the submission date if necessary. Our expiration date will automatically calculate based on the permit type. In this case, we had 30 days. It's here. We can manually change it if we need to, or we can select valid until revoked. Enter comments is appropriate and select submit, and the permit has been approved. Let's take a look at the history page. And you can see that we have received it. It was in review, our approval, and the fact that it is active. In the event a permit needs to be revoked, you can access the permit in Edit View and select Permit Revoke. If we revoke it, we can enter a reason in the text box. Select Submit. And now you'll see that this permit has been revoked. That's the basic essentials of issuing a permit. This concludes the video for the Permits Getting Started guide. Thank you for watching, and as always, be sure to check out all of our articles and videos contained within the First Due knowledge base. Stay safe.